Hello everyone, welcome to the webinar. I am so happy to see so many of you already online and more are joining all the time. So warm welcome. Today's webinar, we are going to talk about how to automate your purchase to pay process with AI extension. And I do have quite many slides, so please pay attention. Send me questions on the way. You can see the question tool in the toolbar, so just send me questions. So I will actually take those questions on the way and answer those, as many of them as I just can. So please send me questions and let's keep it that way. My name is Tuomas Haapsari. I work as a head of growth in Snowbox AI. I've been working for Snowbox for like 5 years now and met hundreds and hundreds of big enterprises, and they've introduced me to their AP processes and so on. So I think I have quite a lot of experience in this topic that we're going to talk about today. I hope so. And the purpose of this webinar is that I would like to introduce you to the world of AI as good as I can. And let's hope that I can give some value for you during the webinar. What are we going to talk about today? Number one, we're going to talk about the manual work a little bit within the purchase pay process. Then we're going to talk about the rule-based automation and why rule-based automation alone is outdated. And then I'm going to introduce you to the era of AI, invoice automation AI, and then explain how autonomous accounting AI actually works and how you can connect AI extensions with your AP solution. And I'm going to show you a little bit about the real-time analytics tool of AI performance, and I'm going to showcase you a few real-life customer cases, how they have implemented AI and benefited the AI automation. So this is what you can expect from today's webinar, and we are mostly going to focus on kind of the most challenging invoices that are actually non-purchase order invoices, and why accounting AI is needed for non-PO invoices. And the simple reason is that roughly 70% of the non-PO invoices are being manually coded and routed for approval flow today. And you probably all know your situation within your own companies, an organization you're working for, that what is the automation rate for you guys? It might be, the automation might be a little bit higher, but it might be also way lower than that. I have met huge companies that are receiving hundreds of thousands of non-PO invoices on an annual basis with the automation percentage less than 5%. So 70% is roughly the industry average today. But why is that a problem? There are many problems with the manual processing of purchase invoices, but big thing is that it's really time consuming and really expensive process in that sense. So the industry average again is roughly 6 to 10 euros per manually coded and routed invoice. So if you're receiving 100,000 invoices, 200,000 non-PO invoices, the cost only for processing those invoices manually is really, really high. So that is, for many, the number one reason why do they want to get rid of that work and the manual processing. And there are, of course, other reasons as well. One is like the accuracy of codings. So people are making mistakes and so on. The processing time, invoice cycle is really long when there's a lot of manual work and so on. So, but why rule-based automation is not enough alone? I know there are really, really good professionals and experts online today, and you have most probably built those invoice automation rules yourself. So you have the first-hand information that building those rules are actually not very easy. And every single automation rule has to be built manually. So you will, let's say that you're receiving 100,000 invoices per year, non-POs. You're trying to automate those by building rules. So average is that you probably would have to build 5,000 to 10,000 rules in order to automate 100,000 invoices. So that is a lot of work for building those rules. And the problem with rules are that they are only relying on a single data field, typically in the invoice, that needs to be correct. For example, supplier information needs to be correct, that the rule works. So you probably build a rule that, okay, when we receive a non-PO invoice for this specific supplier, there will be a coding template triggered like this. And if the supplier information is incorrect or in the wrong field or whatever data mistake, the rule doesn't work. And of course, supplier-based rules actually rarely work because the same supplier might send you different kind of invoices. You're making different kind of purchases from the same supplier. So just one posting or coding template rarely works. So it should be more specific rather than just supplier. And in order to automate or build high invoice automation for only using rules, it requires static and recurring invoices. You should be receiving same kind of invoices again and again that those rules work, because if anything changes, all those rules need to be maintained and basically built again if there are changes in the process. So there are like many problems with the rules-based automation, and maybe you can send me as a questions like comments or questions or your opinions regarding this process. But this is what we have faced when talking with the customers, and we have always kind of go through the invoice volumes and the automation rate and how did they build that automation and so on. And there are a lot of problems with the rules-based automation, what we have heard. But please comment your thoughts. But AI, maybe why you are here today is that you want to hear about the AI. So the world of AI is actually really intriguing and very exciting. And it is absolutely the easiest way to achieve high invoice automation rate, just by implementing AI as a part of your purchase to pay process. And I'm gonna try to explain you how does the AI work, why is it so kind of interesting technology in invoice automation. I'm gonna go through or explain it through Snowbox AI solution. So it is quite general still, but I will focus on Snowbox AI capabilities and also kind of introduce you the kind of the overall logic of AI at the same time. But the Snowbox AI capabilities are actually the automatic coding and routing for approval flow with AI. We also have some data fetching capabilities from invoice data. For example, like there are project numbers and so on, we can fetch that kind of information from the invoice data and populate those fields in your AP solution. We are not replacing the OCR solution, even though we have the same kind of capabilities. Biggest difference between us and the OCR solution is that OCR solutions are creating a structured file out of invoice image. And we are not creating a structured file out of invoice image, but we are actually enriching the structured file. So we are also reading the invoice image, and we can enrich the already OCR created structured file. So that's why we're not replacing the OCR, but we are making the OCR work a bit better. In the core of our solution is the real-time analytics tool, where our customers can see all the time and monitor the performance of AI, how well or how accurately AI was coding invoices automatically, how accurately AI was routing invoices for approval flow, and so on. And that is very important because our whole business model is value-based. First of all, we are an extension, add-on solution with ERPs and AP solutions. So we are not providing our customers with our own UI for invoice processing, but we are kind of working in the back end of your existing AP solution or ERP. So we are really a value-based solution. So that's why everything what we do is value-based. So our pricing model is value-based because we are automating purchase invoices. Customers are paying us only if we are capable of automating the purchase invoices with our AI solution. We are providing our customers a free of charge capability or accuracy test even before committing to purchasing our solution. So they actually know before the purchase that what is kind of the automation impact of AI before committing to making a purchase. And we are not requiring our customers for timely commitments agreement-wise. So it's actually really easy to implement Snowfox AI as an extension with your existing solution. And if we are not, for some reason, providing you value enough, it is actually very easy to get rid of us as well. So we don't want to lock you up with any kind of agreement, but we want to be a value provider, so you really get the benefits what you have been looking for. That's the kind of way of working with us. We are processing over 15 million invoices on an annual basis today, and the number is increasing all the time. We're working mostly with the big enterprises, as you can see the logos here. We also have a little bit smaller customers that are receiving, let's say, less than 20,000 invoices per year, but the big ones are over 1 million invoices per year. But the typical customer of ours is a bigger company that are receiving a lot of invoices, because then there's a lot of manual work, complex environments, and so on. So AI is basically the only way of achieving the high invoice automation rate. We are working with Google. We're Google Cloud partners, and we were actually awarded as the Google Customer of the Year last year, which we are really, really proud of. But let's move forward. So basically, why do we exist? As mentioned, our customers typically, before using Snowfox AI, are having a lot of manual work with their non-PO invoice coding and routing for approval flow. There are some rules that they have built within their existing solutions, AP solution or ERP, where they're processing purchase invoices. And we guarantee that if you implement our AI in use, actually your automation will increase up to 80%, 90%, even 95%, basically immediately after the implementation. And what is our way of working? The really important thing is that we are not competing against your system own kind of built-in rules. So if you have built rules within your AP solution or ERP, you can still use those rules in the future as well. But we are building our automation on top of that. So, and then kind of the outcome is that if you used to have 30% of invoice automation with rules, you will end up at 80%, 90% with rules and AI together. And of course, AI is not 100% correct all the time. So there's some AI retraining that needs to be done in the process. So, but I will talk about that more later. But this is kind of the reason of using AI, that a lot of manual processed invoices, implement AI and automation will increase immediately. And where are we actually in the process? As mentioned, we are mostly focusing on kind of the post-processing of non-PO invoices. But let's see, first of all, you're receiving invoices. No matter if they're paper, email, PDF, or real e-invoices. You have first the data validation part. If it's a PDF invoice, those will be scanned with the OCR solution, and typically at least the header information. And then you will probably validate that all the data points required are in place and in the structured file in your AP solution. And then, yes, we have some capabilities of enriching or kind of helping you with the data validation part as well. But the main focus for us is the post-processing, meaning routing invoices for approval flow, meaning reviewers of the invoice, approvers of the invoice, and then the invoice coding, predicting GL accounts, cost centers, tax codes, project values, whatever dimensions you are using, we are able and capable of predicting those with AI. And then there's the payment part, which we are not present at this moment. But how does the AI actually work? How does it learn coding your invoices automatically and route those invoices automatically? So when you think about the rules-based automation, you always start by building rules manually, right? With AI, it's actually a little bit other way around. We never start by building rules, but we start by extracting historic invoice data for AI. So typically we get from our customers, as a part of the implementation, we get like 6 months to 12 months of historic invoices with the related coding data and the approval flow data. Who reviewed, who approved the invoices. And this data we will feed the AI models with. And AI will start going through those invoices as one by one. So it will go through first the invoice data. It will take the invoice image and the structured file. And it will go through every single data field of the invoice. Who was the supplier? There are addresses, there are line items, so what purchases were made and so on. There are like reference numbers, reference person names maybe, even like bank account numbers. Every single data field that there is in the invoice, AI will go through and memorize all that data. And then it will go through the related coding data. Which GL account was selected for this specific invoice? Which cost center was selected for this invoice? Which VAT code or tax code was selected for this invoice, project, whatever dimensions you're using? It will go through all those values and memorize that as well and kind of pair with that invoice. And then it will go through the workflow of the invoice. Who reviewed this invoice? Who approved this invoice? And memorize that as well. And after going through all of the data, let's say 6 months of historic invoices and codings and workflow data, or 1 year even, it has a lot of data of your purchases and how those invoices were coded. And out of that data, AI will start creating kind of logics that why those invoices were coded like they were. What kind of information there needs to be in the invoice that specific GL account is selected or a specific cost center is selected and so on. So AI will basically create a lot of very complex kind of automation rules automatically based on historic data and your previous behavior. And that's something that humans can basically never do at that level. And then AI is actually ready to work. It knows how your invoices are posted before, how they need to be coded and routed in the future as well. And this training phase takes only, let's say, 4 hours to like 1 day. So it's really fast process going through all the data and creating the AI models and learning the way your invoices should be posted in the future. And then we connect the AI extension with your existing ERP or AP solution. And when you are receiving invoices where there is no automation rules within your AP solution, those invoices will come to our AI solution for predicting coding and approval flow if needed. So how does it work? AI will take the new invoice, the invoice image and the structured file, and go through every single data point again of this new invoice. And based on the historic logics AI created, and based on the information of this new invoice, AI will start predicting every single coding dimension value separately. First, GL account. What would be the most probable GL account for this specific invoice? what should be the most probable or would be the most probable cost center for this invoice, tax code, and so on. And AI will predict all the codings. And even if it needs to be split with few coding lines, AI can also do that. And then AI will also predict who should review this invoice and who should approve this invoice. And what is really interesting is that AI is actually also indicating how sure or unsure AI is regarding the codings and the workflow. So AI will indicate it with a percentage from 0 to 100, something in between that. It's called confidence value. So the more confident AI is, the higher the percentage is. So for example, GL account, AI can give the prediction between 80 to 90% confidence value. And why is that important? It is because AI is not 100% correct. If there's a mistake, like let's say 1 out of 10 predictions includes a mistake or incorrect value, it's really important that AI indicates that, hey, this is the invoice that I'm not very sure about the GL account. So somebody will then double check it. But those 9 out of 10 where AI is really sure about it, sure about the GL account, you can easily let it go. But okay, AI does the coding and approval for predictions, and those values will be automatically populated within your AP solution or ERP. Then the invoices will go through your normal approval process. So somebody will review the invoices, somebody will approve the invoices. And if for some reason AI predicted any value incorrectly, let's say the cost center was predicted incorrectly. So the reviewer is paying attention that, hey, this cost center is not correct. It's very important that they will correct and replace the value with the correct one. Because after the invoices are being approved, they're ready to be paid and booked, we are actually getting back from AI as a feedback loop the final codings and final workflow data. So AI can compare that, okay, in the beginning of the process, these codings I predicted, and end of the process where the invoices are being sent to payments, these are the final codings. So AI compares if everything was correctly predicted or if there were any changes made in the process. If, for example, the cost center was changed or replaced with another value, that is a message for AI and a feedback for AI that, okay, I made a mistake and I need to learn from that mistake. So AI actually automatically learns and improves based on the feedback. And that's why AI is actually getting better and better all the time because of the feedback. And this process you can monitor real time using our analytics tool. So you can see how many invoices were coded and routed by AI and how well AI performed and were there mistakes made and so on, how well AI learned from those mistakes and so on. But please, if you have any comments or questions, send me one so I will take them and answer those. But this is the process. AI trained with the historic data, then we'll implement in as a part of your process. AI will do the coding and approval flow predictions, and they will go through your normal process, approval flow. If AI made mistakes, it learns automatically, and reporting will show you how AI performed and so on. And one really important point of the AI predictions is that when AI is predicting, for example, GL account or cost center or any dimension value, it is using every single data point of the invoice by predicting these values. So AI is not relying its predictions to, for example, just the supplier data or some single data field in the invoice, but AI will use all the data points in the invoice and then predict these values. So it's more like working as a human basically, that because you know that in the invoice there is no GL account information, and some of you might think that how on earth can AI predict GL account value because invoice does not exist any information of the GL account. But that is the trick, that AI is using every single other data field of the invoice and predict that because you we're making this kind of purchase from this kind of supplier, and there's this kind of address and whatever. This should be the GL account, and this should be the cost center of this invoice, and this should be the tax code, and so on. So this is how it works. This is one of our customer, ISS, and the CFO, Seppo Haapalainen, said that I am very satisfied with Snowbox AI solution, and we have been able to leverage the automation brought by AI very effectively, and we have achieved results quickly with a very reasonable investment. And I especially appreciate the fact that Snowbox AI connects to our existing invoice workflow solution. So we just connect kind of in the backgrounds or back end of the solution, and they don't need to change anything, but the process is just starting to work more automated way. This is how we connect with AP solutions and ERPs. As you can see, there are many ERPs and AP solutions that we have connected our service with, and we are actually really willing to cooperate with the AP solutions and ERPs, because we have no competition against them, but we are only improving their kind of user experience by providing with high automation for their customers. So many ERPs and AP solutions are also willing to cooperate with us and make sure that we can very easily connect with their environment and help their customers to increase higher invoice automation. But this is how we connect. This is the API model. So when supplier is sending you an invoice, the invoices typically will go through your invoice operator. If it's an e-invoice, if it's a PDF invoice, will go through your OCR. And then the invoices will end up your AP system, number 3. And the AP system will first identify if there is some automation placed for this invoice. If it's a PO invoice, it will go to your PO matching process. If it's a non-PO invoice, it kind of checks if there is any automation rules or anything in place for this invoice. If there is no automation for coding or workflow for this invoice, invoices will be sent to us through the API interface, and we will take the invoice as I explained before, and we will do the coding predictions and the workflow predictions for that invoice and send it immediately back to your AP solution. This takes like some seconds when it comes to us, and we send it back. So it has no impact in the process, other than it's more automated, of course. But then the invoices will be automatically sent to approval flow if the AI has been sure enough, and if not, somebody will then double check the predictions. But most of the invoices, let's say 8 out of 10, can be automatically sent to approval flow automatically with the codings in place and the reviewers and approvers in place. And as mentioned, we will get, after the approval flow, we will get back to us the final codings, the feedback loop, and the AI models will be retrained automatically with the feedback information. And all the data will go to the real-time analytics where you can monitor the process, how well AI is working, and how did it improve. And here's one example of SAP. This is actually the OpenText vendor invoice management solution. So in the bottom, you can see those circles. So basically that's the coding line. So you can see our predictions there, like GL account first, 522560 circled, and then there's cost center 198001. Then there's debit or credit indicator. This is debit, and so on, the tax code. And then on the top, there's this box where you can see also the predictions. Is even with the text predictions, debit or credit. So here's the prediction with debit with the confidence value of 90 to 100%. GL account 522560 with the confidence value of 80 to 90%. Cost center 90 to 100%, and so on. And actually the reviewer, Thomas Richardson, 80 to 90% confidence value. So basically all those fields are being populated just like some human did it. But on top of that, we will provide with these predictions with the confidence values, typically in the text box or some history log, depending on the system. Couple of screenshots of the analytics tool, how AI performance can be monitored. So first one, in the top left corner, there's this invoice volumes. So customers can see how many invoices came to us for predictions. And then below that, there is row level dimension accuracy information. So you can see actually 4 months of data. And then there are percentages per dimension, how well, how correctly, or how accurately AI predicted these dimensions. So you can see business partner, basically everything correctly predicted, 99.9% correct predictions. And then cost item, 81.86% correctly predicted. And then cost center, 89.85% correctly predicted. Project code, 94.99% correctly predicted. And GL account, 83.31%. And you can see the 4 months time that how AI have improved over time and developed. And on the right side, there's workflow accuracy, basically reviewers and approvers of the invoice. So same kind of information, how AI developed. Security is a big question for our customers. So as mentioned, we are Google Cloud partners. We are ISO 27001 certified, which is really good. And our service is regularly audited by different suppliers. So we are really paying security and GDPR stuff and so on. That's very, very important. Customer cases. I will show you 4 cases how different companies have utilized AI and how did they benefited from that and what happened to their invoice automation. So first of all, Cramo Group, and they're working in a few countries. They are receiving quite a lot of invoices, 350,000 invoices on an annual basis. They have a really good AP solution in use, but still almost all of the invoices were manually coded and routed for approval flow. The approval flow had a bit higher automation compared to coding automation, but still not a lot. And there was a lot of manual work for the AP team and the business, because business was taking care of the codings and the AP team was taking care of the routing of the invoices for the approval flow. And today, they tell that their manual routing time reduced by 95%. So only 5% is left after implementing Snowbox AI, and that is really amazing. And they tell that their invoices are paid much faster than before, so there are no late payment fees anymore. And their automation rate increased up to 80% immediately after the implementation, and it's inclining all the time. And I actually took a screenshot from the analytics tool from April 24, so this month basically. The business partner accuracy is 99.97%. Cost item 83.39%. And then this kustannuspaikka is Finnish. It means cost center, 93.03%. Project code 95.82%. And tili, which is GL account, 84.35%. So pretty exciting results, considering that they are quite complex environment, a lot of invoices, a lot of suppliers, and so on. So pretty good improvement. And the comment, the quote, automation provided by Snowbox AI could not be easier for us because it is automatically built. So just implement AI and this happened. So they didn't have to do any kind of a big project of trying to build those rules and stuff, but just implemented AI and as an extension and so on. And this happened. Another example, Atlas Copco. They are a really big company as well. They are receiving around 1 million invoices per year. 50% of those are PO based. So quite a lot of PO invoices, but still a lot of non-POs as well. And before us, they were mostly focusing on PO process. And first of all, they enabled PDF and email invoice reception, implemented OCR solution in place, created the purchase order auto matching and auto posting for PO invoices was gradually enabled, but the non-PO was a problem, and they had like several ways of trying to build the invoice automation for non-POs before Snowbox AI. And they, for example, they created a logic for automatic posting based on past invoices. So they were trying to kind of find from the history the same kind of invoice and copy paste the coding for this new invoice. But it was rarely the same, and there were always some kind of fine tuning that needs to be done. So it didn't work really well. They even created kind of a mapping for keywords. So they wrote down a lot of keywords, and they were doing a mapping for codings based on keywords. And they kind of found out quite soon that they had to have a lot of different kind of keywords and match it with coding templates that it didn't really work well. And then they even tried building their own homemade machine learning with Python, which was working okay, but not very successfully. They implemented us, let's say, almost a year ago, and their environment is really complicated. They're a really global company with a lot of different countries and different ways of posting coding invoices, and a lot of fields for us to predict. But still, the prediction accuracy is on a great level. And there's actually a screenshot from their environment, so I'm not gonna start reading through those, but you can see really many fields what we are predicting, and the accuracies are exceptionally high. And a lot of manual work was saved from them as well. And this is a company called Kiinteistö Tahkola. It's one of the biggest real estate companies in Finland. They're receiving over 650,000 invoices per year, non-POs, all of them. And before us, their coding automation level was around 5%. So 95% of the invoices were coded and routed for approval flow manually. And they really had the best of breed AP solution in use. But still, their business and the environment was so kind of complex that it was really hard to create or build the automation using the rules only. But today, with us, the level of coding automation is 94%, and you can imagine that a lot of manual work is saved with this high invoice volume. And their comment, in the very first month, the prediction accuracy of Snowbox predictions increased to over 80%, and at the moment we are already above 90% after 3 months of implementation. Now they have been actually live over a year, maybe a year and a half, something like that. One more case example, THM Group, also in the real estate sector. They are receiving around 200,000 invoices per year, and their coding automation was 10% before we started. Nowadays, it's roughly 90%. And they even said that we have doubled the number of purchase invoices since we started using Snowbox AI, and we are able to handle the invoices with the same resources. So a lot of manual time saved for them by implementing AI in use in their process. So as you can see, the accuracies are actually differ customer by customer, because every single customer have their own set of dimensions, and then different kind of chart of accounts and cost center structures and so on, their own suppliers, and everything is basically unique. So that's why we build for every single customer, we also build unique AI models. and so on. So this kind of results you can expect by implementing AI, but it's a different result for every single company. But kind of to wrap up, how can you benefit from using AI as a part of your purchase to pay process, is that first of all, you can achieve up to 90% of invoice automation for non-PO invoices as well. I know that high invoice automation level can be achieved for POs, but then you have those non-POs as well, so you can automate those as well. That's kind of the message. And to kind of repeat a little bit, AI learns automatically from historic invoice and coding data, and it actually could not be easier because you don't have to build those rules yourself. And it's really easy to implement with your existing environment because AI is connecting as an add-on with existing solution, at least Snowbox AI and some others as well in the market. But there are not many that are working like we are. Typically, they are like providing their own user interface as well. But Snowbox AI can be connected to the back end of your existing solution very, very easily with the interfaces. And you are only paying us for increased invoice automation. So if we are not able to increase your automation, you're not paying for us. So we are really doing our best to help you increasing the invoice automation. And of course, the costs for using AI is always less than the manual work. So it is attractive model. That's what we hear. But if you're thinking that we are very complex and it cannot work for us and so on, what we many times hear, we can actually prove it for you if you want. So we can provide you with a free of charge AI accuracy test. So you don't have to commit to implementing Snowbox AI in use, but if you want to know how well would AI work for you, we can conduct a free of charge test, accuracy test, capability test for you. There are 3 phases. Number 1 phase is that we need historic data from you. You should be able to extract historic invoices and the related coding data and approval flow data. Typically 3 to 6 months of historic invoices and codings and approval flow data. And this kind of data batch you send to us using our, we will send you a link, upload link where you will send us the data. And then with the historic data, we will actually use 70% of the invoice data and the coding and approval flow data to build a real AI model for you. And then the 30%, the rest of the data, we will actually take the coding information and the approval flow information away and feed the AI with the invoices only, kind of as new invoices, and ask AI that please predict coding and the workflow for these invoices. And AI will give its predictions, GL accounts, cost centers, VAT codes, whatever dimensions you are using, and then approvers, reviewers of the invoice for those invoices. And then out of these 30%, we will actually create a reporting for you where we will compare your original codings and the workflow information with the AI predictions. And then we will create the reporting for you. We will show you the dimension level accuracies and invoice level accuracies that if you would implement our AI in use, this would be kind of the starting accuracy level where AI starts performing for you from the day 1. So if you implement AI today, tomorrow it will start performing at this level. So this is kind of a proof of concept for you for free to understand how well AI would be able to start coding and routing your purchase invoices. And this is free of charge, and we're happy to help you with this one. If you're interested, if you're struggling with lack of invoice automation, you want to improve it, this is something you should really consider. And actually another point is that if you have an alternative AI solution in your mind that you're kind of thinking about right now, the best way of comparing these is actually this kind of capability accuracy test, because the biggest differences between AI solutions are actually within the accuracy. So you might have two AI solutions for coding invoices. One can end up in 50% invoice automation. Another solution, AI, can help you achieve 90% of invoice automation. And that is absolutely the biggest difference between AI solutions. And of course, there are other differences between those. Some are not capable of predicting reviewers and approvers. Some are not providing you with any kind of analytics tool where you can monitor the AI performance. We actually have even kind of admin tools. I didn't show it to you today. I can do that later if you are interested, where you can actually control your AI model basically, and make all kind of changes and fine-tune the AI models by yourselves. So many of these AI providers are not providing with this kind of tools as well. But this is something, if you're interested in achieving high invoice automation, this is something I really recommend you to do. For us, when we receive the data, your historic data, it will take, let's say, 3 weeks from us to do the test, build the AI models, test it, and then create the reporting. And then we will present it to you. This is how it looks. And to emphasize, there is no commitments. So we're not requiring you to buy Snowbox AI, but this is the proof of concept. But thank you so much. Very happy that you were spending this time with me. If you have any questions, please, you can send it right now, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or you can send me an email, or even make a phone call. Here's my phone number as well. So I'm happy to help you with the invoice automation and help you guide through the AI solutions as well. Thank you so much.